in 1948 in a humble village called Bamboo in La Romaine, South Trinidad. This wasn't the glitzy port of Spain. This was sugarcane, coconut carts, red earth, and riverside cricket. He grew up surrounded by the rhythm of working-class life, the shouts of vendors, the clang of tools, the hush of Baptist prayer. His parents were spiritual Baptist leaders, and the young Timothy was raised in the arms of gospel. By 5 years old, he was already singing in church. That's where the voice first took flight. A voice dipped in reverence, shaped by worship, and trained not in scales, but in spirit. But gospel wasn't the only music calling his name. Soon he was singing at community events, entering talent shows, and soaking up the Calypso greats, Sparrow, Kitchener, Shorty. He even sang their songs on stage. And it was one of those performances, singing Sparrow's The Slave and Shorty's music, that changed his destiny. Ras Shorty I, father of Soca and a visionary in his own right, was in the crowd. After hearing the young man sing, he approached him with a challenge. "Why you don't sing Calypso for yourself?" Baron replied, "I don't really write. I just like to sing." So Shorty wrote one for him. That song was Severe Licking. And that moment was the beginning of a lifelong career. In 1971, Baron entered the Calypso Monarch competition for the first time and placed third. Imagine that, your first year, and you're already standing next to giants. The stage name Baron was given to him by Shorty himself, and like nobility, it stuck. But just when his career was blooming, Baron did something unexpected. He stepped away from the spotlight. For 13 years, he stayed out of the big Calypso tents. No competitions. No carnival hype. Instead, he traveled the region with Ed Watson and later Shorty's band, Vibrations International. He performed in nightclubs, hotel lounges, and community stages across the Caribbean, quietly building a presence. It wasn't that he stopped singing. He just sang on different terms. But in 1984, Baron came back. And when he did, he came back like a smooth storm. He dropped The Jammer and Feeling It, 2 back-to-back hits that shook the Calypso world. The voice was richer, the style more confident. Critics called it honey-dipped. Fans called it irresistible. He wasn't just a singer anymore. He was a performer, a crooner, a storyteller. And women in particular? They couldn't get enough. For the next several decades, Baron would give Trinidad and Tobago a soundtrack for every season. For Carnival, he gave us Sweet Soca Man, This Melody, Do Rock It So, Soca Espanol, and more. Songs that made you sway and smile at the same time. He wasn't the wildest dancer or the flashiest dresser. But when Baron opened his mouth to sing, everything else paused. That voice didn't need tricks. It was pure velvet. Then came the holidays, and here's where he truly took over hearts. Baron is the king of Soca Parang. Come Go, Spanish Woman, Rosita, It's Christmas Again. These aren't just songs, they're family traditions. They play while we decorate, while we bake, while we take a drink with cousins we only see once a year. Baron's Christmas music doesn't just ring bells, it warms the whole house. And let's not forget his gospel work. Songs like Mother's Love or Happy Home feel like Sunday mornings, faithful, gentle, and full of gratitude. This man has recorded over 300 songs across more than 5 decades. His range, endless. He could easily shift from soca to R&B, gospel to calypso, parang to romantic ballads, each time with elegance. And yet, despite that massive discography, Baron never lost his humility. In 2011, he celebrated 40 years on stage with a concert called Soca Passion. Then, after recovering from my surgery in 2023, a spontaneous visit from some young artist sparked something beautiful. As they sat with him, one of his songs came on the radio. They all began to sing along. Baron smiled, joined in, and someone suggested, "Let's do a concert where everyone performs their favorite Baron song." That's how Infinity, the Baron concert, was born. It featured more than 15 artists, including Sherwayne Winchester, Sugar Aloes, Tigress, Calypso Princess, Devon Seal, Lady Adana, Aaron Duncan, and even Antigua's King Shortshirt, Baron's close friend, whom he once sang background vocals for. The concert was held at Queen's Hall, and its title, Infinity, was chosen. When asked why, she simply said, his songs will last forever. Now let's talk love. Baron had been in a private relationship with Calypso administrator Sherma for over 2 decades, 10 years in secret and 12 more in public. On Christmas Day 2023, they made it official in a small, private wedding. Sherma has been Baron's manager throughout their entire relationship, quietly steering the ship, booking gigs, and making sure the man behind the music was always supported. People used to jokingly call her the Baroness. Now it's real. They plan to celebrate publicly with a larger event in March for his birthday and take a honeymoon after Carnival, naturally. And just when you thought it couldn't get sweeter, the community where Baron grew up gave him his flowers, literally in the street he once ran and played on. The Penal/DB Regional Corporation named a street after him, Baron Boulevard. He stood there with Sherma by his side, looking at the shop where he once played guitar as a boy. He smiled and said, "I never thought I'd be recognized like this." It was the ultimate homecoming. His childhood friend recalled how they'd play cricket on that same street. And today, that same road carries his name. From Barefoot Boy in Bamboo to Calypso royalty. But there's one lingering mystery. Despite all the songs about romance, about family, about deep love, there's no public record of Baron having any children. None. Not one. It's rare in our culture, especially for a man so adored, so surrounded by women and fans and family. But maybe, just maybe, his children are his songs. They are the melodies that bear his spirit, the verses that carry his love. And through them, he lives forever. Baron found himself, and in doing so, he helped generations of Caribbean people find themselves too. Whether it's Carnival Monday, Christmas Eve, or a quiet Sunday drive, his voice is always there, sweetening the moment. From Gospel Boy to Soca King, from Severe Licking to Infinity, from Bamboo Village to Baron Boulevard, Baron isn't just a performer. He is a living legend, a man who turned soul into song, who gave us music that moved hips and healed hearts. And in my opinion, the greatest voice Trinidad has ever produced. Over the course of his 50-plus year career, Baron has toured internationally, performed across the Caribbean diaspora, from Brooklyn to Brixton, and regularly sold out venues like Queens Hall and Napa. Just one of his Christmas shows, for example, can bring in anywhere from TT 200,000 to TT 500,000, roughly $30,000 to $75,000 US in revenue between ticket sales, sponsorships, and merchandise, especially when you factor in the nostalgia and multi-generational love his music commands. During the height of his parring season, he was booked nearly every weekend in December, sometimes playing multiple gigs in a single night. But today, at 77 years old, he performs far less frequently, mostly by choice, opting for intimate shows or grand tributes like Infinity. With royalties from over 300 songs and wise management from his now wife Sherma, or Baron's estimated net worth sits between $1 million to $1.5 million USD. Not lavish by international celebrity standards, but enough for a quiet life of dignity, respect, and legacy. So if Baron ever made you dance, made you laugh, made you cry, show some love. Like this video. Share your favorite Baron memory or song in the comments. Subscribe for more Caribbean legends who deserve their flowers now. And as Baron once sang with that velvet voice, if you don't find yourself, you cannot be someone else. Well, Baron found himself long ago, and we're all better for it. Long live the sweet Soca man, forever Baron. Infinity always.